So let's share with you the agenda for the day. So thank you for joining as well, everyone. I know that it's quite early for some of you, like Charlotte, for example. So I do appreciate it. So let's move on and talk about today's call. So we'll just go through the welcomes and the introductions. So talk a little bit about the new leaders that we've got that have been recently onboarded. And then we'll head on to our TUG leader updates. So that includes the TUG trio and things that have come up recently, but then also the survey results. So we want to go through the results of the survey that we did earlier this year to show what came up and what we're going to do with that feedback. Then I will cover briefly the hackathon that's coming soon. We'll talk a little bit about the Slack workspace and that migration. And then we'll talk a little bit about DataFam Live, which is coming soon. And there'll be time at the end for Q&A as well. So in the afternoon's call, we have this call for APAC and EMEA friendly. And then we have another call later on for EMEA and EMEA friendly times. We have got Britt and Lilia speaking about the hackathon and DataFam Live as well. So if there are any questions that you have that I can't answer today, I'm going to note them down and ask them in the call later for Lilia and Britt, who are working on those things, and I can get back to you with the answers. Yeah. So please feel free at any point during the call today to jump in, just take yourself off mute. We're only a small group, and ask questions as we go along. So just a reminder of the Tableau community team and who we all are. We've got me, so I'm in the UK, in Manchester, currently in the Manchester office where, as you can see, they don't really like ceilings, so it's full of pipes. And I focus on enablement and support. So you'll often find me on these calls and on Slack, or if you're emailing the user group alias, it's often that I'll be responding on there. Then we have Melissa, who's based in the Netherlands. I think she's possibly on this call now, or she'll be joining soon. And Melissa is the person for reimbursements, for all of our guidebook issues, for any of those operational things. So Melissa is your friend really for getting the swag, reimbursements, anything like that. That's her remit, and she'll be able to help. She's based in the Netherlands, and it might fool you because she is from California originally. So if she does hop onto the call later, you'll hear that she's got an American accent, but yeah, lives in Amsterdam now. And then we have Rain, and Rain is the TUG program lead. So they are based in Seattle. And again, will often be responding on Slack and on the Tableau user group alias for email. And then, of course, we've got Kelly. So Kelly's the director. She's over us all. Kelly's based in London. And yeah, she's always happy to dive in and help. So if you have any questions, she's always someone that is very happy to answer and get involved. Right. So new leaders in EMEA. So a big welcome to newly onboarded leaders that we've got. We're really excited to see new leaders across the globe. We've got Rosa and Laura here. So Rosa's on the left, and Laura's on the right. And these two are leading the after work TUG in Paris. So we already have a Paris user group, but Laura and Rosa felt there was a bit of space for another kind of group so they are meeting up in more informal spaces like bars and restaurants or bistros, to bring people together in a really informal setting. So they're going to have fewer speakers and a little bit more dialogue, rather than the traditional kind of setup that we have for TUGs. So it'll be interesting to speak to them in a few weeks to find out how things are going. So great to see more activity in Paris. I don't think we've got anyone on the call from France, actually. I don't think so. Maybe they'll be joining us later. But yeah, huge welcome to them, and it's great to see more activity in France. And then it's been pretty busy for APAC. So we onboarded we onboard everyone as a cohort, actually, so that every quarter, once we have the application window open, the people who apply all get to be onboarding together, which is really a nice way for them to get to know each other and feel part of something a bit bigger. So we had Shubhadeep from the Trailblazing Analytics Tableau user group in India. So that's getting quite big because we've got our Trailblazing Analytics group in the US and the UK now. So seeing another cohort in India is pretty cool. And then we have Sanjay from Udaipur. We have Krishna from the CRMA TUG in Maharashtra. Neeraj from the Gahual Tableau user group. and Kanchan from the Mere Root Tableau user group. So lots of new leaders in APAC and in India specifically, actually. So lots of new friends there for you, Viraj. Have you spoke to any of these people already, or?
No, not yet. I am
Okay.
planning. No, I'm planning to reach out to them soon. Let's see.
Oh, fab. I mean, no pressure. I just wondered whether you knew of
Ah,
them
no, no,
from events and
no, no. Definitely, I would love to speak to them. So no pressure on that. Definitely.
cool. I wondered whether you'd spotted them at the TDX in
Um.
Bangalore and like forced them to lead a group.
Uh, yeah, I wish I would have met them if they were there. But that's the point that I want to talk to them. Probably if they were
Yeah.
there, I have some stories to share.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that seeing so much activity, in that region was probably due to, the work that you guys did at the event at TDX, having that booth there and people seeing more about the community. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of them were there and that's why they applied. And then over to EMEA. So we've got 3 new leaders in EMEA. We've got Ajay from the Philadelphia TUG. So it's cool to see the Philly TUG back on the map because that's been dormant for quite a while. Then Logan from the Morgantown Tableau user group, and then Eric Summers from the Leahy Tableau user group. So big welcome to everybody there. I'm just going to check, is anyone on the call there that I've just mentioned? In case anyone wanted to introduce themselves. I don't think so. Okay, we'll move on. And whilst we're just giving these shout outs, I do want to say a huge thank you to the TUG leaders, our ambassadors who've led the TUG Tips live sessions. Thanks so much for putting them on. So they've been doing this since the beginning of this year, and I think they've been so helpful for both existing user group leaders and new user group leaders when they've just started out. So these TUG Tips live session, Roshni kind of thought up the initiative and has been keeping a track with slides every month, making sure that she's caught up on what updates we've had, what the top of mind, what things do people need to know throughout all this chaos and all the information we send out to you. What are those like top things that people need to hear about? She goes through all those, and the ambassadors then will go through the TUG Leader Hub, showing what's new on there, what slides have been added to the new slides for user group events deck. So it's a really great way to kind of get up to date when you're feeling a little bit behind. And also these sessions have a big chunk of time that's dedicated for you asking questions, and you'll get that support then from ambassadors who've been doing it for a long time and also other leaders who've tried something new and maybe you've got something good to share. So they're a really cool initiative and I think they're doing so well. We're seeing more and more attendees every time. So yeah, just wanted to give you a big shout out to everyone who's been involved with those because we've had, Roshni started it, of course, Torre's been helping so much, so was Viraj, Charlotte as well on this call just now, but so many, Jen Shepherd from the US and Ginny as well. So it's been a huge team of people that have made these work, and I think they've just been, it's been brilliant really for all kinds of leaders, whether they're new or old. So thanks for putting those on. If you are interested in joining the next one, I don't think we have the date up just yet, but they are held every month that we don't have a quarterly call. So you'll see one probably in possibly in August. I'll find out, but they'll be announced on the TUG Leader Hub, and we also share them in the TUG announcements channel on Slack. Does anyone know actually when the next date is? There's a few people on the call who might be involved. No? Okay. Well, I will find out and I will upload as soon as we know the date. So over to the TUG leader updates. First of all, the Slack workspace. Has everybody moved over? Is everyone on the Tableau community Slack workspace and not paying attention now to the old Tableau user group workspace?
Yes.
Yeah? Has anyone not moved over yet? And don't be embarrassed if you haven't. It's absolutely fine. I can send you the link. Sarah's moved over. Brilliant. Seeing a lot of yeses. I will send the link to the workspace just in case anyone hasn't. Yep, Mohammed, I can send that over. Here it is. So basically, we moved over from our old Tableau user group Slack workspace, and we've now migrated over to a bigger, greater Tableau community Slack workspace, which is for everyone in the Tableau community. But as TUG leaders, once you're added to that the Tableau community Slack workspace, we'll add you to our supported TUG leader channels. So you still will have that ability to chat with other TUG leaders and come to us for help on, Bevy and on tech, whatever it might be. So please do make sure that you've moved over, set up your account. It is super easy to do. When you first head into it, I must say, I think it looks a bit overwhelming, but once you're familiar with it all, it is a lot easier, and it's really cool because then you can reach out to people from across the globe, just any members of the community, rather than the limited group that we had who were just TUG leaders. So I'm enjoying the workspace. It's great, and we've now moved over from that old TUG workspace, which means that the old TUG workspace is now read-only. So there's no point really even heading into that. It'll be a read-only space, so naturally we're kind of going to sunset that old workspace as we're all using the new workspace much more. If you have any questions on it, please just ping me or email, and I'll be able to help with that. We're going to go through actually a little bit more on Slack and how it all works to make sure that you're understanding it in a moment. Then also we've updated the slides for user group events deck. So we've now included the slide on the Tableau Next training and the call out for the ambassador nomination and application window being open. So let me just share the link with you for the slides for user group events deck. This is a deck, in case you didn't know, that you can use to take any slides for your Tableau user groups. It's a great way to just hop in, grab a slide, copy that, and have it into your presentation so you can share it with your attendees. It saves you making up an additional slide. You can also take slides, make a copy and edit them or whatever, so that you're using that template or background, and it just makes things easier for you. So please always take a look through that slide deck. And then there's still time to take part in the TC25 Community Encore TUG series. So you should know now that we have a series that runs, and that's a great way to where you can get featured on the Tableau landing page. You can receive external promotion on your TUG, and you get access to packaged content then for super easy planning. So the next series is coming on the 15th of July. That one will be on Tableau next, but there is still time to take part in that TC25 Community Encore series. You will just need to submit by the 31st of July, and I'll share a link in the chat here on that series. If you do want any more information or you don't know where to find it, if you head over to the TUG Leader Hub, we have a banner at the top, which is all about the current series, and it has a link then for you to submit that you want to be part of it. And then finally, the TUG Leader application window is currently open. So if you know anybody who would like to be a TUG leader, or they've been waiting around and you're not too sure how they can get involved, they can apply by scanning the QR code here. So you can use this slide actually at your user group events if you like, and they can apply to become a Tableau user group leader. The application comes through to this team, we'll assess the application, and they'll get onboarded with that cohort all at the same time. So it's a really nice way to be part of something a little bit bigger. They get to meet the other people within that cohort at the same time. So please share that far and wide if you do know anyone. Of course, if you are wanting a co-leader, I just want to make it clear that you can apply at any time. If someone you know wants to co-lead a chapter, they can apply whenever they like, and we assess those on a weekly basis. So applying to be running a new group is just every quarter, and the window is open now. Let's move on from there. Okay, so let's dive in now to those TUG leader survey results. Does everyone remember the survey? Did you all take part? It was earlier this year. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, thanks so much for taking part. It really does make a difference, because without kind of listening to you and hearing what the struggles are, we have no idea. So we really appreciate it. And for those that did take part, we did run a little prize draw as well. So hopefully those of you who won the swag voucher have been able to spend it on something fun. So let's dive in and look at those results. Oh, sorry, Tora, you didn't win. I know, I was gutted for you. I know how much you love swag as well. We're doing another survey in like November, December time, so there's still time to win some swag. Right. So what and why? Why did we do it? Well, we want to really understand exactly how you're finding the program. We want to know if we're meeting your needs and expectations, and we wanted to explore if we can increase that satisfaction to reduce the number of leaders either dropping off from TUGs, so stepping out of the program, or for their TUGs lying dormant, which is where it's still existing on the page, but they're not actually holding any events. We wanted to make sure that we can help you thrive and not just survive. So that's all around like having a good time whilst you're running it. We want to make sure that, you know, leading a TUG is fun. So thank you for all the responses. It's made a huge difference, and it's been a bit of an eye-opener for us too. We had 77 responses, which we also want to get even a higher number when we do this later in the year. We'd love to see that getting up to maybe like 100. That'd be great, just so that we're making sure that we're then covering everyone. And not just those active leaders who are already like quite active and wanting to fill it in. So we're going to do our best to get more and more people responding to that survey. So the key results, we were really pleased to see that the overall leader satisfaction was 8 out of 10. It's a really great result, and we're happy then that you're happy, but we know there's still room for improvement there. So we do have plans to, which we'll talk about in a moment, to improve that leader satisfaction next time. So the survey results showed us that 75% of respondents check Slack on a weekly basis, and 75% rate its usefulness either 9 or 10. And Slack is that place where we're sharing updates and where you can get in touch with us. So it's really important that as TUG leaders, you're feeling confident in using that platform to get the most out of the program. So we want to make sure that we can help with this. And then 80% of respondents said that they were aware of the TUG Leader Hub, and 80% said they find it useful. That TUG Leader Hub is the one-stop shop for all of our resources, upcoming events, training materials, etc. So it really is key that that page is easy to navigate and easy for you all to use and find. So we've identified these areas for improvements. So number one is finding quality speakers, because 60% of leaders said they would like help finding speakers for their events. 60% said they'd like help in member engagement, so increasing engagement with their members. That's people who've said they've joined their TUG. 58% of respondents said they'd like support with recruiting new members, so building up their subscribers on Bevy. 42% said they want more engagement from Salesforce employees. And then in addition to those quantitative results, we also saw a common theme running through the survey, that there's a lot of overwhelm with the program. You can see from these quotes here, somebody said there is an abundance of useful information available, but the overwhelming amount makes it difficult to keep track of everything. I appreciate that Slack is used to share updates, but reducing the frequency could make it more manageable. And then someone else said, sometimes I feel like there are so many messages coming from so many different sources that I get lost. A more consolidated messaging system could be helpful, but I'm not sure how. So throughout the whole survey, there were other comments like this that showed to us, well, we heard that you're feeling overwhelmed at times, and you're finding that there's a lot of information there, but you don't know which bits to take, and also where you saw that bit of information. So what we need to do is to simplify, which is what we're now focusing on. So here are our improvements. This is what we're doing to take action. Firstly, the Slack workspace now we've moved over to the community Slack workspace. It has a greater reach to help you finding those quality speakers and increasing the engagement with members and recruiting new members. And we've also consolidated the help channels that we had in the old TUG Leader workspace. So we hope that if you have moved over to the new community workspace now, that Slack isn't so overwhelming, since we've reduced that number of TUG channels And we've added links to relevant canvases instead of like linking Google documents. So you can now find, for example, the guidebook all on a canvas. So again, it's all in one place. So you're not having to navigate over to Google Drive for something. You can just stay on Slack. And we can also drive partnership with SEs, CSMs, success guys, and AEs to promote TUGs. This includes getting internal speakers and also attendees at TUGs. So, for example, we had Southard speaking at the London TUG recently and Matthew Miller at the Armenia TUG, which was a virtual one. So we really are kind of working on our internal partnerships. Then we'll have our monthly TUG digest sent out to all Tableau employees and share our dashboard of upcoming events and integrate TUGs into sales conversations too. So we have a really cool Tableau dashboard now, which shows what events are coming up so that anyone in the business can check that out, check their area and promote that then to their customers. And then we're going to provide more content such as TUGs in a box and have an increased cadence of slide updates on our slides for user group events deck. We've heard in TUG Tips Lives that you really find that slides for user group events decks helpful. So we just want to make sure that we keep building on this. We're seeing lots of you use these slides, so we'd welcome your feedback if you think anything is missing at any point. And the TUGs in a box that we have available now are the data skills for AI, prepping data for AI and Pulse and Agent Force. So feel free to make the most of those. And on TUG promotion, we'll promote your events at Tableau events such as World Tour, TDX and Summits. Like we talked about before, when at the beginning of the call, Viraj was helping at the TDX event in Bengaluru. And we had quite a few slides on upcoming Tableau user groups in that area. And we've done the same at London when we had our Agent Force and TDX over in London. Agent First World Tour, and TDX in London. So we've done our best to kind of really promote the user groups that we have, and often we've given out some free swag if people sign up for user groups. So we're really working on that to try and get those subscribers up. And then we're also promoting that TUG membership from day one now to our leaders. So they'll see it as a first step after they've been onboarded, that they can get a Tableau user group leader to mentor them throughout their journey. And we're going to keep this top of mind so that leaders are aware that they can request a mentor, and just every opportunity having that program advertised. And then we're making the TUG Leader Hub easier to navigate, and we're condensing the resources. So we're only holding on to the most useful resources on there. At the minute, there's like a lot of real estate on that page. It's taking up a lot of real estate. There's so much on there. It's so long. So we're going to have 4 new bite-sized training videos to help leaders get started showing up on there. So once they've been onboarded, they can head to the TUG Leader Hub, and instead of saying like an abundance of long training videos, it'll be these 4 short bite-sized kind of clips to show them how to use Bevy, how to get going, how to use Slack, for example. And then, of course, we will keep those older videos because we know they were helpful. Things like how to promote your user group, how to create exciting content, etc. We know that you're still looking at those, so we will have those in a Google Drive folder, but they're not going to take up too much space on that page. And coming soon, the reimbursement process improvements and overhaul of the TUG Leader onboarding to make things more concise and simple. So you'll see a change to that onboarding deck, and you'll see changes with the reimbursement process. So there are a few things to look out for there. We're hoping that the TUG Leader Hub will be updated sometime this week. So you should see a more simplified version of our TUG Leader Hub, and it should be easier to navigate. Hopefully, you can maybe go through this in the next TUG Tips Live session, but we've worked with an agency to ensure that the user experience is as good as it can be, so that you can get around the hub and find the information that you need really easily. Has anyone got any questions before I move on to the next bit? Nope. Fab, well, feel free to come off mute and jump in if you do as we go along. So the Tableau Ambassador Program, so the new logo and updates. Now, Britt isn't here this morning because it's like the middle of the night for him and he's in the US. So I'm going to do this part, and if there are questions, like I mentioned earlier, that I can't answer, I'll be asking him later on. But the first thing to know is that the Tableau Ambassador application and nomination window is now open. It will close on the 25th of July at 11:59 p.m. PT, so in America. So for those in the UK, we have a little bit of extra time. But please, if you do want to, you'd like to be an ambassador, or you know someone who you think you should want to nominate, please do that as soon as you can. Tableau ambassadors are leaders in our community and data champions who want to bring analytics to everyone. So it really is now the time to nominate yourself or someone else. We've also got a slide in our slides for user group events deck, this one, that you can use at your event. So you can copy that from the deck, add it to your own deck, and you can share that maybe at the end of your next TUG event so that people are aware that that window's open. They can just scan the QR code and it'll take them straight through to the application page. And then the new logo, as you can see, which I quite like. And we've looked again at simplifying our approach. So there's been a few changes to the ambassador program, and we've come up with these after talking to stakeholders, and we've got this new model. We thought about, what if we just had Tableau ambassadors and not branches? So the fundamental idea is that we recognise people for leading anywhere. They have the opportunity to give back wherever their passion lies. And instead of that branch-based model, we will adopt a project-based approach instead. So varying the length and degrees of projects. Each project will have a leader. And finally, we want to help community understand how ambassadors participate and their background. We know that Tableau employees and the community fuel community engagement by going to them. So overall, we're hoping that this process is more streamlined, more simplified, which kind of ties in with everything we heard in the survey too. So this is the new approach that we have. Is there any questions on that before I... Oh, Raj had to drop. No worries, Raj. I know we've got a few of our ambassadors on the call already, but I think everything there is pretty self-explanatory. What do you think about the new model for those ambassadors that are already ambassadors? You like it? Yeah. Thumbs up from Tor. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so yeah, thumbs up for Charlotte as well. Cool. So no thumbs down there. That's good to hear. And then I want to chat a little bit about the hackathon. So starting on the 24th of July and ending on the 18th of September, we've got the virtual hackathon. So I'm sure you've all heard of Tableau Next. It's the world's first agentic analytics platform. It's built on Salesforce, integrated with Agentforce, and works with a unified data layer and trusted semantics. So it delivers personalized and actionable insights to every user in every workflow. Tableau Next will set the foundation for accurate context-aware AI with a trusted semantic layer that unifies business knowledge across your organization. It augments humans and enriches agents with pre-built analytic skills to go from data to insight to actions faster. And it's built on an open API first platform, so you can create, share, and reuse analytics assets seamlessly. And of course, because it's built on Salesforce, you get enterprise grade performance, security, and scalability too. So we will share more information about this hackathon when we have it on the TUG announcements channel, so stay tuned. But as you can see, there's up to 45,000 in prizes, so it's one to look out for. So make a note of the dates there. Starts on the 24th of July, ends on the 18th of September, and keep an eye on the TUG announcements channel, where we'll share more details when we have them of how you can get involved. Then for those who haven't joined yet, another push to join the Tableau community on Slack. The link's there. You can scan the QR code to get on. And we'll run through now a little bit how it works, so that you can, you feel familiar with it. So Rain is going to go through this later on. Rain has worked a lot on the new workspace to ensure that it all works well. And they wanted to give a quick update on the item on almost everyone's mind, which is where we are when it comes to getting publicly facing TUG channels for promotion and or individual private channels for TUG meeting planning. So after many meetings with the owner and steering committee of the Tableau Community Workspace, and after offering multiple solutions to this ask, the ability to create these channels is sadly on hold for now, just due to existing moderation challenges that the team is working to address. So the only exception to net new channels are in language channels, for example, Community Japan, depending on need. So at the present, the guidance is to continue to leverage existing channels for promo and to utilize DMs for planning. And we know this is really disappointing, but Rain's going to continue to advocate for this wherever they get the chance to until we have a solution that better suits our needs. So a bit of a shame, but we are working on it at this moment as well. I know that Rain really is pushing with that. We are nearly there as far as the migration goes. We've got 61% of existing leaders that have migrated and been added to the TUG leader channels. Hopefully that'll increase today. Now I've sent the link through again. So thank you to all the ambassadors who've helped identify the assets to migrate. They've tested the workflows, they've tested the channels, they've explored the new features, and who put up with Rain's terrible pie chart, she said, but I think they're pretty good. And a big thank you to all TUG leaders who have migrated and embraced that change. So if you do have feedback, Rain's got a thread going in the TUG announcements channel with the opportunity for you to do so anonymously as well, if you'd like. How are you all finding the TUG workspace? Well, on here, the pie chart. How's everyone finding the new TUG workspace? Ellie likes it. Yeah, a lot of channels, yeah. Yeah, a lot of traffic as well from Torah, yeah. Yeah, I do agree with that. Okay, good to hear about the materials. Yeah, you mean everything that's in the canvas there then, Ellie? Yeah. Yeah, I like that too. Okay, that's good to hear. I think Torah, I agree with you. When I first migrated, I was like, that is so overwhelming. Because we were thinking we're doing this to simplify as well. But I've now arranged things and it is easier. I think there is a lot of traffic, but you can mute certain channels, the ones that you aren't using, mute those ones, make sure that you've starred the ones that you really want and putting them into the right, if you go through and organize, putting them into the right sections. We have got some training on that actually, but it does make it a bit easier. Yeah, is that when that guy? Yes, it was Charlotte. Yeah, so in case everyone doesn't realize, at the whole channel, everyone gets a notification, so everyone's pinged all the time then, so do avoid doing that. Fab. Okay, right, well I'm glad to hear that there's not, everyone's getting on okay with it. All right, so on to DataFam Live. So Lily has been working on this and she's really excited to announce that the next DataFam Live is happening on July the 24th on exploring agentic analytics. So it's like a Tableau next kind of DataFam Live. The live virtual event will take place from 9 to 11 Pacific time, which will be in the afternoon, evening for most of you guys in Europe. And for APAC, that time might be quite tricky. I think you should be okay in India actually. But it will be recorded, so that's a good thing. The event is entirely dedicated to demystifying the agentic analytics through community-focused learning, transparent conversations with Tableau product leaders, and real first-hand experiences from community members who've explored Tableau Next already. The event will end with inviting everyone to get hands-on with Tableau Next through the new community hackathon, which we mentioned earlier. And it encourages you to share this event with your groups. So we'd really like you to share this slide. It's in the slides for user group events deck. and consider hosting watch parties, maybe live or just with the recording. And we'll also bundle up resources from the events that you can easily share the content with your group or have follow-up meetings on that topic as well. Registration is now open, so please register and share the event as much as you can. And if you've got any questions, you can come to Lilia if you speak to her on Slack, or you can come to us and we'll pass that over. Lilia will be joining the call later on today, so I can always go ahead and send your questions to her, ask them live on that call if you wanted that, and feedback to you. And just a final note, it's not going to be hosted on Bevy. It'll be on Salesforce's webinar platform. So don't expect to see it on there. It will be a little bit different to get in. So it might be worth testing on if you're in your work laptop and there's some restrictions, getting in a little bit earlier just to check that it all works okay. But it's coming soon. So very exciting. You can scan the QR code there. And like I mentioned earlier, this slide is in that Slides for YouTube events deck, so you can take that and share it at your next event. Okay. So over to questions from you. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, that is why you can't find it, Charlotte.
And the QR code is just a preview, so that didn't work from that previous slide.
Oh, did it not? Okay, let me get the link for you instead. Hold on. That's good to know. Bear with me, let me get the actual link for you. Lilia sent me a Duff slide there. There we go. I've just put the link in the chat where you can sign up. And I will get that QR code changed, so thank you for flagging that. I know, Tora, yeah, in the middle of school holidays, that is quite annoying. For us, actually, our school holidays start a little bit later, either August. So it's not too bad for us in the UK, actually. Do yours start then? I'm guessing you'll start on Friday then, Tora, if you're going away on Friday.
What do you mean by Friday? Well, I mean, Norway we have, or in the Nordics at least, we have like the public holidays is mid-July to mid-August almost, or beginning of August. So school starts in the middle of August again. That also depends on the country, but.
Okay, right. Yes, that's different to us. So we finish at the end of July, and we don't go back to school till the beginning of September. So this end of July for us is okay. It's kind of in England. I don't know about everywhere else in Europe, but that's good feedback for next time. At least for the recording though. Switzerland's the same as the Nordics. Oh, okay. Interesting. So does anyone have any questions on anything we've been through already today? Nope. Okie dokie. Well, this will be the Q3 call, which will happen in probably September time, will be run by Melissa, I anticipate then, and Rain, because I head out on maternity leave a week on Thursday. So I will miss you all. But I'll be hopefully joining on my keep in touch days on these calls days. I was thinking that it'd be nice to kind of join in when I can on my kit days. So Melissa will be running the next quarterly call, and you all know of her already. And then we have our next onboarding call as well. If anyone wants to join the onboarding call just for a bit of a refresher or to welcome new leaders, please feel free to do so if you'd like to. But otherwise, I reckon we can probably finish a little bit early then, and you can all get a bit of time back this morning if nobody has any more questions. Thanks, Tora. Thanks, Charlotte. Be off in the sunshine.
I'll get some Liverpool swag for you.
Yeah, do you know what? There's a couple of kids at my kids' football. They both wear Liverpool kits. I'm like, how are they getting away with that in Manchester? I do think of you when I see it. And also there's a dad at one of the dads at our school. He's a huge Liverpool fan, like absolutely massive. Wears his kit with pride, but he's also like a huge guy. So I feel like he gets away with like wearing that kit around the Manchester area because yeah, you know that we don't like them. We don't like Liverpool.
Yeah, likewise.
Fab. Well, really nice to see everyone. Thanks for joining early in the morning. And the recording will be up on the TUG Leader Hub in case you want to go back over it. And we'll see you all soon.
Have a nice summer.
Thank you. Have a lovely summer, everyone. Bye-bye.